Welcome back to FM Story. In the last episode, we completed the League and Cup double in Chile with Universidad Católica, meaning that we completed Chile in one season. So yet again, it's time to move on. The only trophies left to win are the Cup in Brazil, the League in Colombia, and the League and Cup in Uruguay. There wasn't very many jobs came up during the off-season. So let's find out where we begin season 11. And here we are. We've gone back to Brazil to try to win the Copa do Brazil. We've joined Atlético Mineiro. It was one of only about 3 jobs in eligible leagues that came up. And the other jobs were at the bottom of the Colombian league. There wasn't a job came up in Uruguay. And hopefully we can wrap up the Brazilian Cup pretty quickly. So looking at everything, they're predicted to finish 10th. Last season they seemed to finish 3rd. There's a bit of money to spend, but as always, with joining Brazil, we're about to join right at the start of the state championship, and then it's a long, long season. We obviously played the 4-3-3 last season. Whether we stick with the 4-3-3 or not, I don't know. There's some players coming in January. So looking at the squad, it seems to be a fairly well-balanced squad. It depends, obviously, on the quality of some of these players. And we've got Seferis, who we had quite a lot during the European Glory Hunt to save. Guess it's going to be time will tell. The state championship does start tomorrow, so we don't have an awful lot of time to try and get things sorted. Obviously, the only aim for us this season is the Copa do Brazil, but I think we're going to need to do well in all the other competitions to keep the board happy. So as we said, there are some transfers already done that are coming in actually tomorrow. Firstly, Leonardo Relpe, who I think we tried to sign when we were at Internacional, is coming in. Experienced defender, not much in terms of the physical still left, but certainly probably a good backup option at the very least. Miguel Landazuri is coming in from Millonarios. Looks like a really promising, really good centre midfielder. No caps for Colombia, but looks to be a good attacking central midfielder. And then Mauricio Ramos coming in from Atlético Nacional, who we obviously had with us at Atlético Nacional when we were there, but I can't remember him playing much, if anything. What year were we? So 2031 is when we were at Atlético Nacional. I mean, he started 14 games, came off the bench 20 times, 5 goals, 6 assists in all competitions. I mean, he is only 24 still as well, so he was like 2021 when we had him at Atlético Nacional. Maybe he's improved a bit to be able to be a starter, but we'll find out as the season goes on, no doubt. We have made it to the opening day of the main league season. So we're now towards the end of April. I think there's been some games, but this is our first game at home against Fluminense. It looks like we've made a mistake in coming to join Atlético Mineiro. And the only reason we came to Atlético Mineiro was because we needed to win the Copa do Brazil. However, for some reason, we are the only top division side who are not in the Copa do Brazil. Now, from what I can gather from having a look at Wikipedia, there's a weird way of teams being eligible. It's not just everyone who wants to be in or who can be in is in. There's places given to teams that have won Copa Libertadores to Copa Sudamericana. I think the top 9 in the league are guaranteed places. Then it seems to come down to the criteria is the state championships and the level of the state championships and how many teams they get to qualify. And somehow we don't meet any of that criteria, it would seem. And therefore, there is no Copa do Brazil this season. There's no continental football either. So it's going to be a relatively light season in terms of games. But the question is, do we stick it out for the full season with Atletico Mineiro to make sure that they qualify for the Copa do Brazil next season, to then have a go at that and build a squad capable of doing that? Or do we move on to another Brazilian side or to a Uruguayan or Colombian side as the season goes on? There are no jobs available in any of those leagues at the moment, so there's nothing imminent, but we may end up jumping ship halfway through the season. But transfer-wise, there's been some business. So we sold some players who basically didn't want to be at the club. The main one of that was Garcia, who really didn't want to be at the club. Him and Lincoln have gone from that point of view. Obviously, we'd already seen Landazuri, Ramos and Relpe were already done. And then we've brought in some players that make the squad younger. Just give us a bit more depth. First up, we brought in a couple of attacking players. We brought Fuji in on loan from Chelsea, formerly with Fluminense. Just looks a really decent player, playing just off a front man. He's already kind of hit the ground running, 5 goals in 11 games in the state championship. And then the other attacker we brought in was Pablo Negredo from Gimnasia in Argentina. Some great physicals, good off the ball, good finishing. He's got 6 goals in 10 games in the state championship so far as well. And then given the formation that we're going out with it, which is a slight variation on the 4-1-3-2 that we played in Peru, we picked up Junior Ferreiro from Atletico Nacional, can play in that defensive midfield role. He has come in and done a job so far. It's taken him a little while to settle down into the position, but looks a real quality player as well. And then we brought in Kelso from Vitoria. Can play as a winger, is a fullback but can't really defend. But we just needed some backup in that area. And when he's come off the bench for us in the state championship, he's done a pretty decent job as well. So as far as the state championship is concerned, the first sort of phase of it was pretty straightforward. 7-0 victory at home, a 6-0 victory away, 4-0 at home, 4-1 at home, 3-0 away at America, 8-1 at home against Ipatinga, a 2-2 draw against Cruzeiro, who were obviously the other real decent team in the state. We won 4-0 in the last game of the first stage, which saw us finish top of the group with 7 wins from 8 games, the best record in any of the 3 groups. Then in the semi-final, we played against Villanova, who were in our group. We beat them 5-3 at home in the first leg. We beat them 5-1 away from home in the away leg. So plenty of goals in the semi-final and final, because in the first leg of the final, we lost 5-3 against a team that played for an hour with 10 men. But then we won the home leg 4-2, and that obviously means it was 7-7 on aggregate. Now, there was no penalties, there was no extra time, there wasn't even away goals. Because we were the higher seed, we were declared the champions, so we picked up that trophy. And now we turn to the league, and hopefully we can put in a good enough performance to qualify ourselves for next season's Copa do Brazil. So this is the side we've picked for this opening league game of the season. We are missing one player in Mathisau, who's been playing in midfield and has been outstanding so far. It means we've had to push Ferreiro forward into the 3 in midfield. Pontes is playing in the defensive midfield role. We do have some real quality. Landazuri, who's one of the players that came in January, has been outstanding so far. Dimas and Araujo are getting loads of assists from the flank. And Emmanuel and Beraldo, particularly Beraldo because he's only 19, I think, both really promising young defenders. Unfortunately, Emmanuel is trying to force his way away from the club, but the transfer window's closed, so hopefully we can keep him for the whole season. So we've got the 4-1-3-2 against the 4-3-3. Hopefully they don't exploit us too much down the flanks. Right, not much happening early on, but we've got a corner. Zaferis to take it. In, swing it to the near post. And Emmanuel's header goes over the top. We get a free kick for them. Whipped to the back post. Cobra comes and claims it. And then rolls it out to Araujo on this left-hand side. In to Ferrero. Landazuri getting forward from the centre of midfield. Dimas now bombing forward. Landazuri squares it. And Zaferis' shot is blocked and behind for another corner. This time it's going to be Araujo to take it. In, swing it to the near post. Emmanuel flicks the header on and the keeper turns it over. Araujo with another one. This one goes a bit deeper. Headed up and over the top. Araujo with a throw. Zaferis back to him. We've lost it on the edge of their area. Beraldo gets across to win it. Pontes to Ferrero. Emmanuel finds Dimas in loads of space. Forward on the right, cross towards the back post. Pablo Negredo gets up. His 7th goal since he's joined us. And the perfect start for him on the opening day of the league season. So this is what Dimas and Araujo have been doing all through the state championship. Just lifts the ball over to the back post and Negredo gets up. Keeper couldn't keep it out and we're 1-0 in front. Right, a throw for them. They're attacking down the right. Passed it into the box. Caligari from right back. Takes a huge deflection off Emmanuel for an own goal. And they're quickly back on level terms. The first time we've really seen them as a threat. They work it well. Caligari continues that run into the box. I mean, that's going well wide in the end. But it hits the back of Emmanuel's head and flies in. And a long ball over the top. And then whipped back. And somehow we're now 2-1 behind. They didn't even class that first goal as a shot for them. Not even like a shot off target, but not even a shot. And then a long ball. And then he picks out the man. And the first time finish past the keeper. Another free kick for them into the box that Cobra comes and gets. And then he goes long. They've headed it down. We've managed to win it back. Fuji down the right-hand side. Crosses into the box, looking for Negredo again. This time his header comes off the woodwork. We get the ball back in the box, please. Yeah. It's headed back. Zaferis again. Somehow they've not conceded that. I really don't know how we are behind in this game, but half-time, 2-1 down. We need to be a lot better in the second half. Right, we've sent the same team out to start the second half. We'll give them a chance to get back in before we make changes. Nothing seems to be happening at the start of the second half, though. Right, a corner, Zaferis to the near post. Pontes flicks it on. It's kept out. Fuji finds Zaferis onto his right foot. And he just couldn't get a shot away. Right. We've made our first changes to see if we can get something from this game. Not much at all seems to be happening in the second half. Right, free kick for them. Chipped into the box. We've got a head on it. Headed it clear. Negredo now turns. Tries to go past his defender. infield to find Fuji. And he's just loose with the ball. Nandinho, who's coming at left back to Beraldo. And Nick Silva into Ferrero. Manzuri. We've gone back to the keeper. This is an awfully long highlight for not an awful lot happening. Silva finds Paulinho, back to Silva. Ferrero to Nandinho. We're knocking the ball around nicely here. Ball in. Negredo at the near post with a header, but he looked offside. I think this is getting disallowed. Nope, it's been given. So we've knocked it around pretty nicely there. Ferrero then finds Nandinho. He drives forward, fires a cross in to the near post. Negredo with the header beats the keeper at the near post. That's 2-2. And this is going to be interesting to see the lines. He is onside. Into the last couple of minutes, can we grab a winner? Paulinho with a corner. And there's Beraldo rising highest to flick the header down and puts us 3-2 up. And it did look like we were just the game was petering out into a 2-1 loss. But the header from Negredo, the header from Beraldo from the corner, and now we're into injury time trying to hold on. And there we go. Full time, 3-2. A good comeback. Not the best of performances overall, but we'll start the season with 3 points. And there we are, the end of another episode. A new adventure begins back in Brazil with Atletico Mineiro. It's probably a massive mistake given that we don't have the Copa do Brazil this season for whatever reason. We're not in it. There wasn't many other jobs that we could have taken, to be perfectly honest, though. So it's now a question of, do we jump ship if a job becomes available that can win us one of the trophies we need to win as the season goes on? Or, as this is season 11 out of 20 that we've got to complete the task, do we go about building a squad for Atletico Mineiro to hopefully win the Copa do Brazil next season? Join us next time to see how we get on. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you then.